Hi, this is the man from Modesto. In this time when I'm issuing forth warnings about things that the Holy Spirit has been showing me for almost 20 years, an occupation of America by foreign troops, many of them Asian, Chinese, and Japanese. There will be a war against Mexico. They will be allied with the Japanese, or else we'll be fighting them in turns simultaneously. It's not going to be good for America. It's definitely time to come out. I'm telling people to come out, and people are making excuses. Whatever your excuse is, it sums up to fear and doubt. And what I'd like you, if you feel like, well, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen for me, don't believe that at all. Never stop believing that Jesus has the ability and the means to move you in the right time. So keep praying. Read the book of James. You'll get a lot of encouragement there. James is really clear and direct on how we ought to pray. So that's a great resource for you. But at this time, the Holy Spirit, the last 2 nights, has been showing me dreams about the war with the Chinese. And in one dream, I was speaking to a Chinese man, and I told him this man had somehow taken some of my money. I had to leave somewhere, and he picked up some of my money, and it was mine, and he knew it. And I came to him, I said, well, you have my money, and you have to return it to me. And somehow we're talking, and I told him, I said, you know, I had a dream that America was covered by the Chinese army, that the Chinese invaded, and they basically covered. And in that time, I saw all of the Northeast covered in a swath like this, going up toward the Great Lakes. And also a big swath covered on the West Coast. I said America was covered, but that's what I saw in the dream. Interestingly, I was telling him that I had seen it in a dream, and I've never had a dream like that. But in the dream, I was describing it to him. Not the first time that's happened, so it's not invalid by any means. Last night, I saw combat. There was some Americans, and the first part of the dream, I see that there's some construction going on, and one man tells another man that he had a dream that water would eventually flood that region up to a certain place, which was below where a new suburbs was being built up in the mountains. In the next scene of the dream, it's again up in the mountains, this same kind of a craggy red colored rock, and some men have fortified a high place, and there's been fighting all during the night, and now it's like the break of dawn, and these guys are basically, they have killed so many Chinese soldiers, mostly with machine guns, but they're almost out of ammunition. So what they're doing is, they had also put this trench forward of them, and they have one man down there, and they're throwing him ropes with hooks on it, and he's attaching AK-47s and boxes of ammo, and they're pulling it back up to where they are, because they need to be able to fire. Here's the interesting thing about Western NATO type ammunition and the ammunition used by the communist nations, Russia and China. The Russians developed their Kalashnikov in 1947 after the West had already made the specifications for their uniform ammunition to use for the NATO forces. And what they did is they made it just, I think, 2 thousandths wider. And what this means is that the Chinese and Russians, any army invading with Kalashnikovs, can capture American ammunition, put it in their weapon, and fire it, no problem. But because of that small increase, if an invading NATO army captured an ammo depot, a cache, in Russia or China somewhere, and they tried to put that ammo into their weapons, it would not fit. So that maybe you didn't know that, but you cannot capture Chinese ammunition and fire it in an AR-15 or an M16, M4, whatever. You have to capture a Kalashnikov as well. You have to have a Kalashnikov to put that ammunition in there and fire it. But if you have a Kalashnikov, you can fire American ammunition. This is the man from Modesto. These are the scenes that the Holy Spirit is showing me. And I am reminding people you need to be in prayer. You need to be seeking God. There's no reason to fear or to quit your business or to stop seeking your pursuits or to just quit living in any way or to let fear overtake you that you commit suicide or something. But you do need to be praying and understanding that God has authority over all things. That Jesus has this authority, and if you put your faith in Him, He's absolutely going to carry you through. And there are some people God has His eye on. He's going to carry them through and they maybe even hate God at this point. But God knows what the future holds, and He has plans that people don't understand. So this is the man from Modesto reminding you, as always, with emphasis, to pray or be defeated.